Northwestern junior Brenden Schuffenhauer has been an impact player for the Eagles men's lacrosse team since his first year, winning MLC Rookie of the Year and all-conference honors. In May of 2022, Brenden suffered a seizure and was subsequently diagnosed with a subdural empyema. The infection put his life in danger, necessitating the temporary removal of a quarter of his skull and hospitalizing him for weeks. Not only did Brenden survive this, he persevered through the physical therapy to rehab the partial paralysis on his left side and returned to the lacrosse field this past spring to play the game he loves. Our very own David Pederson spoke with Brenden to learn more about his story.
So Brenden, how much do you miss lacrosse? I mean, did you kind of gain an appreciation for it, when you weren't able to play it, when it went away for a little bit?
Right. Yeah, so this fall, I obviously missed fall because I was dealing with my injury and just recovering and waiting for my skull to completely fuse back together, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, seeing all the boys out there was just so cool to see them out there, and I just missed playing. And yeah, it was just, tough not to play with them, but at least I got to be a part of it, even though I wasn't playing. Yeah, I gained such appreciation for it by, just being with the team and, seeing how much I missed that brotherhood. And, that was probably my favorite part about that, but I missed it quite a bit. Yeah. When
did the love for lacrosse start? In high school, junior high? When did you start playing?
5th grade, actually. I started in 5th grade. I quit baseball. I didn't really like baseball. It was too slow for me. I liked the fast-paced sport. So yeah, both 5th grade, my cousin got me into it, and my brother and I both got into it. So I was able to, grow up playing with my brother and really just get into the sport and, get to know it. And it was just an upcoming sport. It didn't really come around until probably 3rd grade for us. So yeah, it was just new, and I just really enjoyed how fast the speed of the game was.
Was there a first love moment, a play or a game where you're like, this is my sport, this is what I want to do in college?
I would really say when I got into high school. The high school guys, like the seniors, they really took me under their wing, which was really cool. That's when I started doing face-offs, was 9th grade. I remember my first game it was a winter season. I scored 3 goals, and I was almost perfect from the X, the face-off X. So that was really my first love for the game, was when seeing how that all came together.
How did you end up at Northwestern? What kind of drew you to the school?
Originally, I actually planned on going to the U of M. That's where my dad played. He actually played lacrosse there. That was kind of what drew me there. But my friend Jared Schultz, who's on the team, I went to high school with him. He kind of nudged me to come to Northwestern. Faith has obviously been a huge part of my life. And he just was like, you should come play here. There's a lacrosse team. And then the coach actually reached out to me, and I was like, this could be a really good opportunity for me. And then I just thought about it, thought about the money, saw what I would receive financially, and just saw that I'd be able to play lacrosse again outside of high school was really cool. So yeah, that
for sure. So we fast forward, obviously, kind of getting a little bit of your background, how you fell in love with lacrosse, how you picked Northwestern. Let's flash forward to April 2022. You get sick.
Yep.
I mean, did you kind of know what was going on? Did you think anything of it, or you're just like, I'm sick, I have a runny nose? I mean, This is nothing.
Right. For me, I've always just take sicknesses as it's okay, I'll be fine. I think I started with the flu. It sucked. I was just laying in bed the whole week. I was missing practice, which was fine. And then kind of just started to get worse, and I went back into the doctor, and they told me it was a sinus infection, and I'd never had a sinus infection before. So I didn't really know what to expect. It got a lot worse. My fever got up to 105. That was pretty scary. But I just, being a boy, I was just like, I'll just take it. And I kept going, and I played a lacrosse game the Saturday before I went in with 105-degree fever. Ibuprofen. They kicked
exactly.
it. But after that,
fixes everything.
Yeah, it did. After that, I got a lot worse. I ended up having a seizure, and that was when it was the scary point. I needed to go in.
For sure. I want to talk about that day. So May 1st, you have the seizure. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of just talk about that day a little bit? I mean, how did it start? What was kind of going on throughout the day, and what was the moment that you knew something was wrong?
Right. It was kind of a blur for me, honestly. I had the seizure. I was like, ooh, that was good. I don't know if that was a seizure or not, and then I decided to take a nap, and I took a 2-hour nap, and that was a stupid idea, but slept it off, went and talked to my friends, and they're like, you need to go in. And then I was like, are you guys sure? And then they, we called my parents, and then they decided that we needed to go in. So I went in, and yeah, that was scary. I couldn't really walk at that point. My left side was starting to go numb. That's when I got the paralysis.
And we talk about sports and teammates and having each other's backs on the field, but can you talk about your teammate Jared, kind of his role in getting you to the hospital and potentially, saving things from being a lot worse as well?
I love Jared to death. He is such a good man. I do say he saved my life. He called my mom and made sure that everything was okay. He went with me to the hospital, and man, I don't know what I would do without him. He was just there for me. He was praying for me. He just has been through my side through this whole thing, and I'm so appreciative of him and of my other friends and family.
So the seizure happens. Jared, your parents kind of forced you a little bit to go to the hospital. Man, what did the next couple of weeks look like? I know it was probably a blur, but what can you kind of remember about those few weeks after that?
Right. Well, the first thing I remember was just, waking up to my mom, and she was just by my side the whole time along with my dad. But I would give her like signs here and there, like a peace sign or like an I love you. I couldn't really move my hands, so it was just kind of, just giving her signs. I couldn't talk at this point. I was intubated for the majority of this time, so it was just going through the motions of, trying to communicate with them. It was difficult.
For sure. What are you telling yourself in a time like that? As you're laying there, you have friends and family around you, it's hard to communicate. What were you kind of thinking to yourself to kind of just keep yourself positive and, going forward each day?
Right. A lot of prayer. Prayer was huge. My parents showed me how many people were praying for me, like through their phones and stuff, and it was just so amazing to see how much prayer was going on for me. That really kept me in it, just seeing how prevalent God was in my life, even if I wasn't like physically feeling it. Like I just spiritually felt it everywhere, and that was awesome.
What was the diagnosis? What were the doctors telling you? What was wrong? What was causing these issues?
It was called a subdural empyema. It's a brain infection. It started in my sinuses and spread through my brain. It's very rare. It was just kind of a fluke accident. They said that it would take a little bit of time to heal and get back to going to where I was. Like I had to relearn how to walk and all that stuff. So it took about a month to get out of the hospital.
Man, what's the reaction when you hear something like that? I mean, you are in the prime of your athletic career. You're a college athlete, best shape of your life, and you hear that you have this medical condition that's going to keep you in bed. You don't know if it's going to take your life, what's going to happen. I mean, I'm just trying to think what's going through your head when you hear that news from the doctors.
Honestly, I think looking back on it, I wasn't all that upset about it. I just came about it as like, oh, this is just going to be an obstacle that I'm going to have to overcome. It sucked, obviously. I think looking back now, it's just like, oh, I missed out on this, but it's okay. I was able to grow from it and become a way better person, and my faith is so much stronger than it was before. So honestly, I just look back at it as a positive thing.
What were the conversations like? You talked about praying. What were the types of things that you were kind of asking of God, saying to God as you're going through this just incredibly hard time?
It wasn't really ever why me. It was just like, use me, God. Please just give me the strength to prove that I can be the best version of myself right now. And I just want your strength to show that I can get through this through you. That's
incredible. That's awesome. And then you talk about the recovery. So you're an athlete. I know you love, training, working with your team. Did you kind of approach it that way? Say, hey, I'm sick, but now I have these obstacles I got to get over. Did you almost kind of look at it as, the most important lacrosse game of your life? Like, I got to now fight and train and figure out how to walk again and do all these things again.
Yeah. Majority of my fighting was in the hospital. Relearning how to walk with my PT and all that stuff. Yes, that was a lot. That was definitely probably the hardest thing I've had to do was go through those motions of trying to relearn how to walk, use my left side again. And that was just a crazy experience.
For sure. Your family alongside you throughout the whole process, what did that mean to you to have them fighting alongside with you?
That meant the world to me. My mom and dad were the people that were there all the time. I could only have 2 visitors, so I wasn't able to see my siblings as much as I would love to. They would FaceTime me all the time, and that was super cool. But I don't know if I would have been able to do it without my mom and dad. They were just by my side the whole time, holding my hand, helping me do things, pushing me when I didn't want to push. They really held me accountable, and I'm so thankful for that.
For sure. Now, I think a lot of people would just say recovering from that, surviving is enough. But you decided you wanted to take it a step farther and you wanted to play college lacrosse again. At what point did that creep into your mind? At what point were you, and I mean this nicely, of course, crazy enough to say, I want to get back out and I want to play college lacrosse again?
I just wanted to prove it to myself that I could be strong enough to overcome something like that. I just I wanted to show others that, nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop others either. Like with God's strength, you can overcome anything.
So May 1st, you had the seizure, you went into the hospital. Around what time of year, the timeline, when did you pick up a lacrosse stick and get back out on a field again?
Well, I picked up a lacrosse stick actually in the hospital. I was actually
They don't have rules against that or anything? Okay.
They gave me a tennis ball, and I was throwing around with my my PT, and she has no idea what the sport is, so it was kind of new to her. She was just tossing me the ball, and I would catch it. But it was really cool to just use both hands and just figure out like my hands again and see where I was at physically. But I would say that I didn't get back to picking up until the summer when I got out back, probably late June. Picked up a stick, went out with my brother out to a field and was just like tossing around and shooting and stuff. And that was just when I was like, oh my gosh, I just need to get back to this.
Came back quick, or there was some rust after so much time off?
Definitely some rust. It was tough. The left, like I said, the left side had paralysis, which turned into like paresis, which is just a weakness. And I just had to relearn how to use that. And I used both hands to throw, so I was just kind of figuring that out. It definitely came back slow, but a lot faster than I thought it would.
For sure. And obviously, I'm kind of establishing a timeline throughout this process. The biggest day by far of the whole thing, February 25th, 2023, about a year and a half after the initial seizure, the initial checking into the hospital. I mean, you did it, man. Your first game of the season at Augustana. You're not just on the team, you were on the field playing.
Right.
I mean, what was that like? I mean, what were the feelings going through your head?
Just chills, and God's presence was all around me. All of the boys around me were just so happy for me. It was just such a cool experience. I was so thankful. Still am so thankful. God is just prevalent everywhere in my life, and it's amazing.
Were there any tears on the field for you? Any goosebumps, anything? Or are you just so locked into trying to win the game, thinking about what the job is?
For me, I don't really cry. I'm not much of a crier. Tears weren't really a thing. I did, like I said, chills. Just wanting to win the game, to just, prove that I'm out there again, and I just wanted to be the best version of myself.
Do you feel like you have a different appreciation for the sport, just for the ability to be out practicing? I know sometimes there's days where guys are, I had school all day, now I have practice, or we have to lift, we have to do these things. I mean, do you even allow yourself to go there, or you're just so thankful to be playing again that just everything to you just brings a smile to your face out there?
Right, yeah. I mean, I have my off days where I'm like, I don't know. But then I think back, I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I'm at. Look where I'm at now. Thank God for where I am. I just take every single moment and every single practice with just all the intentions in the world to just be the best.
What was the biggest thing you learned? I mean, this is just an incredible thing you went through. Just the sickness, being in the hospital, having to learn to walk again, getting back out there with your teammates. What is the biggest thing you think you learned about yourself throughout this whole experience?
I think I learned that I'm nothing without God. I would not be where I am without His strength. I always thought of myself as just like a independent, like I can do everything by myself. I mean, obviously I had my faith, but I just could not have done everything I did without Him.
What's the one thing you want people to learn from you? I mean, you kind of talked about that, but if you had a message to tell everybody out there, what you went through, what would that be?
Always persevere. There's always a light end of the tunnel. You will get out. If you have God on your side, I promise you will get out.
Man, just an incredible story. Congratulations to you. Last question I kind of have for you. What are kind of the goals now that you're back? You kind of say you don't want to be back just to be back. What are kind of the goals for this team and you individually?
For me individually, I just want to be the best version of myself, whatever that looks like. I don't need to be first team all conference. I don't need to be the best player on my team. I just want to be a good role player and honestly the best teammate I can be. Just show others that, show God's love through me and just help Him to have me speak through what I can and what I've overcome.
An all-time story, man, all-time moment. You did it. You're back out there playing. Just an incredible testament to you, your perseverance, the support of your teammates, your family, and then most importantly, as you've said throughout our time together, just the strength and faith of God throughout this entire experience too. So congratulations, man. So happy for you and the team that you're back out there. And we wish you good luck throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you.